The Giants' nightmare season continues. They lose to the Miami Dolphins 31-16 in Miami. And the big story coming out of this game is that Daniel Jones is injured. It's a neck injury, and that is concerning because of the fact that in 2021, a couple years ago, he missed 6 games. He missed that rest of that season. He got hurt in the Eagle game. Finished the game, actually. Got hurt early in that game, if I remember correctly. Did finish it, but he was done for the season, and you can't feel great about it. He says he's fine. I think that he's going to be missing some time here, would be my guess. And that's what happens when you have a horrific offensive line, as they do. That is what's going to happen. And so, 31-16 is really misleading. It really was worse than that. Total yards, 524 to 268 in favor of the Dolphins. They rushed for 222 yards. Just big plays all over the place. The Giants finally did get turnovers. That's the thing. They won the turnover battle 3-0 and still lost very easily. One of those turnovers was actually a 102-yard interception return for a touchdown, a pick 6 for Jason Pinnock. So, this could have been worse. But yeah, Daniel Jones got hurt in the fourth quarter. Tyrod Taylor came on. Tyrod Taylor looked like he might have gotten hurt too. Apparently, he just had the wind knocked out of him. And so, yeah, with Jones, it's definitely a concern. And, to evaluate his game, it's tough. He was fine. But again, the stats, nothing there. The offense is horrible. But the defense is bad too. I don't want to let them off the hook, but the offense is just it can't be operated. It is simply the worst offense in football. And probably by a long shot. They have not gotten an offensive touchdown since the third quarter of the San Francisco game, the Matt Breida touchdown. That was the last one they had. So we're talking now, what has it been? 9 full quarters, plus, with just 1 touchdown. And really, in 12 quarters, 1 touchdown. 3 games, 1 offensive touchdown. So the offense continues to just be horrid. The injuries, of course, are piling up. This is a lost season already. And it has me wishing, as I've mentioned before, and as I probably will mention a lot moving forward, is that Arizona win. Which is, when looking back on it, it's actually pretty crazy that they came back in that game. Because Arizona, they are they have shown to be a competitive team. But the Giants came back in that one, and that could be costly draft-wise down the road, but there's just so many issues here. As far as any other injuries that happened, Azeez Ojulari, who has really just been a no-show all year long, quite frankly, whether that be injury-wise or when he's healthy. Ankle injury, so we'll see what's up with that. Marcus McKeithen left the game with a knee injury, so Jalen Mayfield, who most of the listeners might not even know who he is. He was actually a third-round pick by the Falcons a couple years ago. He came in to play right guard. For a brief moment, Bren Bredesen came out of the game. He was fine. He came back in, but so Jalen Thomas, the undrafted rookie, he was Giants got him he was originally with the Ravens in training camp. I think he might be a rookie. Came in and did not look good, but it's just so bad. And then what I should have mentioned is on the play where Jones got hurt, it was a hit, I think Van Ginkel, and there was a bunch of sacks. So what's the sack count for the Dolphins in this one? 7. Yeah, that sounds right. It was a Van Ginkel sack where he goes right around Josh Azudu, who should not be the left tackle, but they have no options. And so then Matt Peart came in. It's just weird how, when the damage to Daniel Jones was finally done, literally after that play, Azudu got pulled for Peart. So I think you ended up with a 5-man unit of Peart, Glowinski, Bredesen, Mayfield, Neal. And Evan Neal, just with I want to just touch on this real quick, just with pathetic, embarrassing comments from Evan Neal this week, where he called himself a lion, called the fans, why would he concern himself with sheep, and called, the Giant fans there booing him hamburger and hot dog flippers. Yeah, that's not going to really go well with the fans. I mean, you are basically a total bust. And so the next time the Giants are home, which will be a few weeks down from Washington, it's tough to individually boo a player in a football game, especially it's hard to do that. It's more so when he's on the sidelines kind of thing, but you wouldn't really know it just watching the game. But yeah, Evan Neal is definitely public enemy number 1 among Giant fans. So I wanted to touch on that. But yeah, I'm trying to think of any other injuries that happened. Wan'Dale Robinson, it seemed like they ruled him out with a concussion, but then he came back in. So I guess that was a sort of either just a misreport or they just diagnosed it incorrectly. He ended up being okay. But yeah, and next week versus the Bills, it is going to be bad. I'm telling you, it is going to be like horrible versus Buffalo. That's a Sunday night game. Giants are horrible on primetime. Buffalo's coming back from London, which can be an issue, but in some ways to me it's a bit overblown. But here's the thing. They're coming off of a loss to the Jaguars. And so yeah, like the Bills should handle the Giants. It should be I feel bad for football fans that are looking to see a good game. You're not going to get it. The Bills are going to handle the Giants very, very easily. And it is going to be very likely a blowout. Like I am convinced of it. Hey, maybe they'll prove me wrong, but I don't think so. What else? Yeah, it's pretty crazy how the season is basically already over. And yeah, let's discuss this Giant Dolphin game. And the Giants are the only team in football through 5 now that's not had an offensive snap with the lead. The Jets broke that streak this week. They did that. The Giants still have not. So they fall from behind. They fall behind early. What I should also mention is players that were injured. Saquon Barkley out again. I suspect there's a chance he comes back next week. If he somehow doesn't, he'll be back for the Washington game the week after. So Saquon is on the mend. Andrew Thomas didn't really come close to playing. I think Andrew Thomas is going to be out for some time. No John Michael Schmitz. He didn't play due to injury. No Shane Lemieux injury. Daniel Bellinger did play, so that was a bit of a scare, but he did play. Another guy that might have gotten hurt, but it sounds like he's okay, is Deonte Banks, who might have rolled his ankle late in the game, but he says he's okay. So, yeah, just a mess all the way around, and I don't see how it turns around positively. Sure, when Andrew Thomas comes back, that'll definitely help the offensive line quite a bit. It will, but what's Daniel Jones' status? And so this opens the door for Tyrod Taylor to go back to his own stopping grounds and, in Buffalo. Same thing with Brian Dable and Joe Shane. Not the way they envisioned it. Not the way they wanted to go back to Buffalo in the case of Shane and Dable. Their head can't be too high. They got to be pretty down about things right now. And it is ugly. And this is one of the worst teams in the NFL. There's no question. I mean, where will the record end up? I'm not quite sure, but they have been exposed. Good teams are really just throttling them. And again, this score here, while in some ways it actually could have been less, the Giants could have lost by 1 score in theory. But yeah, that's just, Giants are not on the same level as Miami. So yeah, let me see if there was any other interesting stats to discuss here. I mean, obviously the big one is the fact that, the yard disparity is crazy. Again, 500 plus yards is insane. So yeah, nothing else really stands out. Again, Giants, the time of possession for the Giants is theirs because they purposely ran the ball to keep the ball away from Miami. And Miami, it's just quick scores. But it was, the defense was not good. Give them credit for getting turnovers. I will give them that because I was hard on them for that, and they did that. But Miami did really whatever they wanted to. The speed of the Dolphins is insane. Devon Achane. Achane. Not yeah. I've called it A-Chain. I think it's Achane. Or Achane. We'll get it right at some point. Luckily, we're not facing Dolphins anymore, so we're probably not going to have to pronounce his name, for a while. But anyway, yeah, he had his way. Eric Gray had more of a role in the run game. And actually, the stats are pretty bad. It was 12 carries, 25 yards, but he actually did look okay. But yeah, for Matt Breida, only 9 carries for 21 yards. Gary Brightwell took a back seat. Did not really see much of him. And neither did we see much of Paris Campbell. His role was really down. Darren Waller was involved. And for Darren Waller, 8 for 86, that's what I'm looking for. However, for Waller, there was one big missed touchdown that you kind of think about, unfortunately, and does take away for what was a pretty good game for Waller. But yeah, Achane, 150 yards. Tyreek Hill, 181 yards and a touchdown. And a big play by Tyreek Hill was when Adoree Jackson was off the field and Trey Hawkins had to cover him. But we'll get all there. Let's talk about the game. Giants get the ball first. Isaiah Hodgins with a first down catch. But, again, they just stall out. The Giants get to our midfield and they just stall the fuck out. I mean, nothing happens. And Wan'Dale Robinson, it's a 3rd and 7, 2-yard play to Wan'Dale Robinson. So the Giants punt at midfield, 4th and 5. Just not what you're looking for. And then Dolphins easily go 8 plays, 89 yards in 4 minutes and 18 seconds. Achane with 24 yards, a lot of end around misdirection, stuff that the Giants just had no business. They couldn't stop it. Jalen Waddle, 20-yard catch. Cedric Wilson, 23-yard catch. Eventually, it ends up in a Tua Tagovailoa 2-yard touchdown to Jalen Waddle. Waddle didn't do a whole lot from what I could tell, but he does get that touchdown there. Tua actually really wasn't all that great. Really had some pretty bad, those 2 bad interceptions. Could have really been caught versus a good team, could have truly been costly. Then the Giants, again, it's an encouraging drive. Sterling Shepard makes a 13-yard catch for a first down. They move the ball a bit. Darius Slayton with a play where he gets hurt on the play, but he ends up returning. Slayton was okay. Eventually what happens, though, is on a 3rd and 7, at the Dolphin 31, they get sacked. That's the last play of the first quarter. They get sacked, and so now you're going from, okay, maybe we can get a touchdown, tie this game up. Okay, now, all right, well, at least we'll get a field goal. No. You're not even getting a field goal because Graham Gano, who is often great, 55-yard field goal, which isn't easy to do. He makes it look easy, but he misses wide left, and so the score remains 7-0. But give the Giants defense credit. Xavier McKinney forces a fumble. Achane fumbles the ball, recovered by Thibodeau, and so Giants get the ball back down 7. However, they go 3 and out. Again, it ends in a Jones sack, just ugliness. And the Dolphins get the ball. And on the second play of the drive, Achane 76-yard touchdown run to the house, 14-0 Dolphins. And that's where it's yep, they're not coming back. They would not. The Giants would respond with a field goal. So a rare instance where the Giant offense scores, but it's still an ugly drive. It was a 13-play, 44-yard drive for the Giants. Darren Waller with a big 21-yard catch. And this is where, I think this was the drive. Yeah, this was the drive where Waller, and he was looking good on this drive, could not come down with the ball. Was it an easy play to make? No. I'm not going to say that it was. This was not easy, but you got to come up with that. He doesn't. Jones gets sacked again, actually, and Godot ends up hitting a 49-yard field goal, makes it 14-3. And then it appeared as if the Dolphins were going to really lay the smackdown on the New York Giants, but not so fast. 3rd and goal at the 4, Tua. It was a pass that should have been intercepted by Okereke. It goes off of his hands and into the arms of Jason Pinnock, who returns it for an 102-yard touchdown. So impressive there, for Pinnock. It's a speedy Dolphin team, and he was able to, get that touchdown and make it 14-10. But of course, and I guess it could have been worse, but the Dolphins do score. There was a minute and 40 seconds left in the half, and the Dolphins easily go down the field, and they end up settling for 3. Jason Sanders, as time expires, at the first half, a 40-yard field goal gives Miami a 17-10 lead. We go to the second half, and right away, on the third play, now this is a big point in the game, 3rd and 4, Miami's got the ball at their own 31. Giants maybe can get a little momentum here if they can, force in a punt. That doesn't happen. And Adoree Jackson, I think there was an equipment issue, so he was out of the game. Miami takes advantage of it. Tyreek Hill burns Trey Hawkins. It's just a total mismatch. And it's a 69-yard touchdown for Tyreek Hill. Makes it 24-10 Miami. Then the Giants would punt on this drive. There was a 3rd down conversion where Daniel Jones scrambles for 11 yards. But ultimately, I thought the play calling was a bit conservative. 4th and 6 at the Miami 44. Just go for it at that point. You're 4th and 6 at the Miami 44, and they punted away. It's just, Daboll at times was just too, do you want to win the game or you don't? Do you want to try to win the game or not? Luckily, though, although the two things aren't necessarily related, Tua throws another interception. This time, Bobby Okereke does come down with it. This was a bad play by Tua. And so the Giants have good field position. What do they do with it? They just settle for 3. Down by 14, midway through the third quarter, good field position, they settled for 3. And it was a 4th and 6 at the Miami 19. Go for it. Go for it. They settled for a 37-yard field goal for Graham Gano. And then the next Miami drive ends in a touchdown. It would be Raheem Mostert who did a lot of the heavy lifting on this drive. It was mostly Mostert and Achan who got the work here. And so after 3 quarters, it's 31-13 Miami. The Giants then would have a 3-and-out. Then Miami would have a 3-and-out on their own. I think that might have been, and that was actually a bad punt. That might have been one of a couple. Yeah, that was like the first of 2 punts for Miami. Then on the first play of the drive at midfield, and at this point the Giants are down by 18, Jones gets sacked and he gets hurt. Van Ginkel, it's a sack. He goes right by Azudu, and Jones, again, the fact that it's a neck injury should be very concerning to Giant fans. So, yeah, Tyrod Taylor looked okay, I thought. Tyrod Taylor, very competent backup. Nothing, he's good at kind of escaping and scrambling. He's got that mobility. And, he gets hurt a lot, though. The way he plays a bit recklessly, and that does lead to injuries. So, I would not be, I hate to say this, but if he does start against Buffalo, I would not be surprised to see Tommy DeVito end up in that game. But anyway, Giants end up settling for 3. Just, again, a lot of sacks, of course, in this one. Gano, 51-yard field goal makes it 31-16. Miami would go 3-and-out, and the Giants would get the ball back down by 15 with 6:25 left. And again, the Giants very leisurely. Look, did I ever think they'd come back? No, but technically you were down by 15 with all 3 timeouts left, and they were kind of just very methodical. And again, we are dealing with an absolutely terrible offense, and so that plays a lot into it. Giants moved the ball a bit. The drive was continued on a legal contact penalty by Xavier Howard. Darius Slayton with a nice 20-yard catch. We go past a 2-minute warning, and eventually the Giants turn it over on downs. Tyrod Taylor scrambled and was just short of the first down, and that would basically be all she wrote. The Giants would start calling timeouts when Miami got the ball back, and the icing on the cake was a Tua pass to Mostert for 8 yards. Dane Belton could not come up with the tackle, and the Dolphins win at 31-16. They improved to 4-1. The Giants dropped to 1-4. And yeah, the Giants are in big trouble. And I would expect this Bills, this spread is going to be probably at least 2 touchdowns, give or take. Maybe 13. It was I think about 13. Now with the Jones injury, I got to think it's going to be a lot more than that. So this could get ugly for everyone to see on Sunday night. This is a disaster season. We've seen plenty of them in recent years, and this is just another one. And one could argue one of the worst. But there again, it's tough competition. But last year, it was fun. Cherish what you had last year because it didn't happen in this year. So again, the Murderers Row schedule continues. The Giants lose 31-16 to Miami. They go to Buffalo for Sunday Night Football. We will see what the status is of Daniel Jones. He leaves the game with a neck injury. Yeah, this is not good.